Jobless and seen as a burden, I moved back home, until my mom threw out my bags and kicked me out. That moment changed everything. Hey everyone. Before we kick off today's video, I've got a favor to ask. We've noticed our channel isn't getting as much love lately, and subscribing is one of the easiest ways you can help us out. It's quick, free, and it means we can keep bringing you awesome content. Your support really means a lot, so let's work together to keep this channel growing. Thanks a bunch. Now, let's dive into the video. Hey, I'm Logan, 28 years old, and recently found myself crashing in my parents' guest room. Totally not by choice, but sometimes life throws you curveballs. I landed a sweet gig at a mid-sized software company after getting my degree in computer tech. But then, bam! The pandemic hit, and I was one of the first to get axed when the company started downsizing. I spent the next year and a half applying to what felt like a million jobs. I had some interviews, but nothing stuck. Eventually, my savings dried up, and I had no choice but to head back home. I figured it'd be temporary, and so did my parents. At first, it wasn't too bad. My dad, Mark, didn't really bug me much, he's more of a live and let live kind of guy. But my mom, Diane, she made sure I felt the weight of every meal I ate and every light I switched on. Weekly, she'd remind me, "This isn't a hotel," with a dramatic sigh if I left a mug in the sink. I thought it was just stress at first, but things escalated from passive-aggressive jabs to full-on criticisms. Like, the kitchen was spotless already, but she'd be scrubbing away and saying stuff like, "Your cousin Rachel bought a house, and she's 2 years younger than you, or still here, huh? At your age, we were raising you." I tried to pitch in. I mowed the lawn, cooked, cleaned, and fixed the finicky router. I took on freelance gigs, building websites for local businesses and helping a family friend start an online store. I wasn't just vegging out on the couch all day. But to her, I was still a freeloader. Plus, my younger brother Jordan wasn't helping matters. He's 24, lives in a fancy downtown apartment, works in finance, and makes sure everyone knows it. He only visits on holidays or when mom begs him for dinner. But when he shows up, it's like the Red Sea parts for him. Mom lights up, her voice gets all cheerful, with "Oh, my baby. You look so fit. Have you been working out?" Meanwhile, I'm just trying to blend in, clearing the table, when Jordan pops by for dinner. He barely acknowledges me, talking about gas prices and how lucky some folks are to skip the commute. I didn't take the bait. But then, during dinner, Mom, all giggly, asked, "Have you even tried applying for real jobs lately?" My heart sank. I'd already told her about the interviews I'd had that week. Jordan chimed in, too, at some point, "It's not bad luck, it's bad choices." That dinner was a turning point. I didn't shout. I didn't throw things. It was more like I was 12 again, quietly taking my plate to eat in the kitchen, hearing them laugh and murmur things like, "Can't cuddle forever and needs to grow up." The next day, Mom barged in while I was working on a freelance project, a website for a local bakery. No knocking, just crossed arms and a firm, "You need to start paying rent." I nodded, a familiar conversation. "I'll chip in once this site is done," I said. "No, I mean now." I was baffled. "Use money I don't have to pay you?" I asked. "No, Logan. I want you to grow up," she declared. "We're done with this. You're just a leech." That word hit me hard. Leech, she said it like I was gum stuck to her shoe. Then she yanked a duffel bag from the closet, threw it at my feet, and shouted, "Go leech somewhere else." I didn't argue or cry. I packed my laptop, charger, and toothbrush, zipped up the bag, and left. No goodbyes. Just that word leech echoing in my head as I walked down the driveway. I ended up couch surfing for a bit, first with my buddy Lucas and then with my ex, who was kind enough to let me crash there for a few days. So, while I was figuring things out on my own, that time alone actually pushed me to give it everything I had. I jumped into freelancing more seriously and even helped a local artist set up her online store to sell her prints. Then, out of nowhere one evening, I got a LinkedIn message from a recruiter who had checked out my freelance work. Within a week, I was interviewing for a remote job with a tech startup, and boom, I got hired. The pay was decent, not exactly Silicon Valley level cash, but it was enough to start turning my life around. Plus, I got full benefits and could work from anywhere. Feeling pretty good, I did something even I didn't expect. I bought myself a small studio apartment with the savings from freelancing. It was all mine. No one could kick me out, and I wasn't a burden to anyone anymore. I moved in about 3 weeks later. While I was working on a project, I noticed my dad called, which was weird since we hadn't talked since I left home. I let it go to voicemail. Then he called again and sent a text asking why the bank had frozen their account. I was like, what? Then it hit me, I remembered helping them sort out their banking stuff when I was still jobless. I set up their internet and mobile banking, plus linked their account to their tax software because my dad was done with all the bank trips, and I was pretty tech savvy. I was listed as a secondary contact on their account for troubleshooting, not for buying stuff. That access was still in place. I took my time responding. I just stared at the message, trying to wrap my head around it. My parents probably sat at their dining table, confused, calling the bank hotline only to hear they needed a secondary contact to sort things out due to a verification issue. I typed back, "Ask the leech." No emojis, no explanations, just those 3 words, and then everything blew up. My phone started buzzing like crazy just as I was about to make lunch. Within 5 minutes, my mom missed 3 calls. Then the texts started flying in. "Logan, this isn't funny. Call your dad. We can't pay the credit card bill. Are you really doing this to us after everything we've done for you? Fix this." I didn't reply. I had the upper hand for once, and I wasn't about to let it slip away. I wasn't interested in being mean just for the sake of it, but I did want some responsibility for once. They always ignored the side of me that kept things running smoothly at home. Paying bills, updating antivirus software, reminding them about taxes, fixing their Wi-Fi, and catching fraudulent charges before they did, that was me, not some lazy mooch as they thought. To them, I was just a grumpy freeloader. Later that night, I got a call from an unknown number. Instinctively, I answered. It was my dad, trying to sound calm, but I could tell he was stressed. "Logan, we need to access our bank account. It's locked. They said you're listed as the secondary admin. I don't know what you did." I calmly replied, "I didn't do anything. The security locked it after too many failed login attempts." All right, it's okay. Just help us unlock it," he said after a pause. I didn't say anything. "Please," he added, almost like a word he hadn't used in years. "Sure," I said. "But first, we need to talk." I dived straight in. Like, why did your wife call me a leech, throw out my stuff, and humiliate me in front of Jordan? Another pause. "Logan, let's not." "No, we will," I cut in. "Do you want me to fix this mess again? Then you'll listen. No excuses, just listen." I could hear him sigh on the other end, but he didn't hang up. I didn't want to move back in with them. I just wanted to help. Cooked meals, cleaned up, made things right, even earned my own money to cover my expenses and give them gas money if the car broke down. But they treated me like a stray dog at the dinner table. "Logan." "I'm not finished," I snapped, my voice breaking a little as years of frustration bubbled up. "She called me a leech every time she could, tossed me out like trash, and you just stood there. You let it happen." He stayed silent. "She made me feel like a loser in front of Jordan. But guess what? Your bank account is locked because I've been the one managing it all along. I've been keeping everything running smoothly around here, but you guys didn't even know how to change a password without me. Seriously." I got up and started pacing my tiny apartment. "You both acted like I was a total failure. But now you need me," and after a long pause, my dad finally admitted it. Those simple words, "we do," hit me harder than I expected. It felt like a sudden windstorm, making me realize they only noticed me when I was useful. Still, I wasn't going to let that slide anymore. I laid down some conditions. I'd unlock their account, but first, they both had to apologize, a real face-to-face apology. No half-hearted sorry while pretending nothing happened. I wanted acknowledgement and a break for 6 months, no favors, no surprise visits. I also decided to remove myself from all their financial accounts. "Handle your own banking or ask Jordan," I told them. My dad sighed. This won't go over well with her, but I was firm. The call ended, leaving me shaking from a mix of anger and adrenaline, but I didn't feel bad about it. 2 days later, I got a formal email from my mom. I realized I said things I shouldn't have. No signature, just "hope you're doing well, Mom." But I got what I wanted, so I unlocked the account and deleted myself from it. I blocked their number for a week, not to punish them, just to have some breathing space. Then chaos hit. My cousin Lily shared it on Instagram, not directly with me. While at Grandma's for breakfast, she posted a boomerang video showing my mom looking annoyed and my dad stressed, with Jordan also upset. I messaged Lily to ask what happened. "Your mom's been locked out of her bank account again," she replied. Apparently, Jordan made things worse trying to fix it, and somehow the blame circled back to me. I was exhausted, beyond even feeling angry. Despite all my help, I ended up being the villain as soon as things went south. Things got worse. My dad lost the login info I'd set up and couldn't access anything, including tax stuff, after mistakenly triggering a fraud alert. Lily relayed that Mom thought I hacked them out of spite. I just texted back, reminding them I had warned them. I needed to set clear boundaries, not make threats. But they thought I was bluffing. A week later, there was a knock on my apartment door. Without even looking, I knew it was them. The slow, deliberate footsteps echoing in the hallway were a dead giveaway. So there I was, standing there, and my dad had his tie on all crooked, looking like he got dressed in a hurry. Meanwhile, my mom was clutching her purse like it was a lifeline. Neither of them said a word, so I got out of the way and was like, "Save it if you're here to yell." They walked in, and there was this awkward silence for about a minute before my mom finally spoke up, saying they needed my help. You see, about 3 weeks ago, my mom had kicked me out, telling me to go freeload somewhere else and even flinging my bags out. And now, out of the blue, she's in my tiny flat, checking out my simple IKEA decor and the half-eaten takeaway on the counter, practically begging for assistance. It felt unreal, but I could already guess what went down. Jordan, my brother, probably messed up something he couldn't handle because it wasn't in Excel, tried fixing it, failed miserably, and then bailed. Mom was like, "We can't even access our savings, and our mortgage payment's late. Now we're getting hit with late fees." And I just replied, "Wow, that sucks. You must feel really stuck." I could see the anger vanish from her face, and her voice got a bit shaky as she apologized. I was a bit taken aback, not in a mean way, just surprised. She was like, "We didn't realize how much you were doing," and my dad chimed in, saying they thought they were being kind by letting me stay, but they didn't really notice my contributions. That's when I cracked, but not for them, for me. Everything poured out, all the stress, hurt, guilt, and hidden resentment. I didn't scream or cry, just laid out the facts. I told them how it felt to be constantly compared to Jordan, always seen as a failure despite all my efforts. My achievements seemed invisible compared to Jordan's, whose every small win was celebrated. And how being kicked out was more than embarrassing, it showed me how disposable I was to them. My mom just sat there, quietly taking it all in, as if each word stung. She muttered, "I had no idea," but deep down, I think she kind of did. There's a difference between knowing and wanting to know. They offered to let me move back in, promising to make it worth my while and swearing things would change. But I shook my head. I told them I'd help fix their tech troubles and write up some instructions, but I wasn't moving back. I had a job, I had a lease, and I was finally at peace. They seemed a bit shocked, like my little studio apartment was some act of rebellion, but to me, it was a sanctuary. I sat them down, grabbed my laptop, and spent 2 hours sorting everything out, resetting access, verifying IDs, and calling tech support. The whole time, Mom was mostly silent, while Dad grumbled about how ridiculous the security questions were. Once everything was sorted, I closed the laptop and stood up, saying, "I'll send you the instructions, but that's it. I'm not your tech support anymore. You guys are adults, you'll figure it out." They stood up too, and Dad gave me a nod that was almost respectful. Mom looked like she wanted to say more but didn't. As they left, I felt this wave of freedom I hadn't experienced in ages. I'd love to say that was the end of it, that they learned their lesson and we all moved on with newfound respect. But families like ours don't change overnight. True to form, 2 weeks later, I started getting weird messages, but not from them. Aunt Cheryl hit me up on Facebook with a "Hey sweetie, heard you moved out on your own, that's awesome." And Diane was all, "You've been distant, just checking in. Everything okay?" Then I got a screenshot from cousin Trevor, showing Mom ranting in the family chat, "Logan's acting all cold and distant because of his new job. I don't even recognize him anymore." And then, of course, Jordan chimed in with this long, self-righteous email, telling me I needed to be more understanding and not blame our parents. He offered to chat over coffee to discuss things. I just deleted it. You see, this wasn't about one argument or one bad day, it was about years of feeling like the default helper, never really included in the family's big moments. While Jordan basked in their praise for every little achievement, I watched my own accomplishments go unnoticed. With Jordan, it was all expensive gifts and family dinners, while for me, even my birthday cards felt like an afterthought. You know how they say each year can get better? For me, it was all about those tiny, nagging frustrations. But I wasn't about to go all dramatic, like hacking into someone's social media or messing with their credit score. Nope, I wanted something way more lasting, a clean break, some self-respect, and building a life without them at the center of it all. And the chance showed up quicker than I expected. My company mentioned they were opening a satellite office in Toronto and expanding the remote team, about a month after our previous chat. They were offering relocation bonuses to a few folks, so I jumped on it. Fresh start in a new city, with no family popping by unexpectedly. I got myself a cozy one-bedroom apartment right in the city with a view of the skyline and a little desk set up in the corner. It wasn't anything flashy, but it was mine and paid for by a job I earned, no handouts from the people who loved calling me a leech. Before moving, I shot my folks one last email. Not because I owed them, but just to be clear. Subject, revised. Hey folks, just letting you know I'm moving to Toronto for work. From now on, I'm out when it comes to helping with tech issues, account stuff, or any other problem. You guys got this because I'm stepping away from it all. Hope we can all find peace in this new chapter. Take care, Logan. No reply. No thumbs up. Nothing. That might have stung before, but not anymore. Toronto was everything I hoped for. Made new friends fast, joined a local coding group, and started volunteering at a non-profit that helps seniors with computer skills. Every time I helped a grandma figure out two-factor authentication, I thought, this is patience. This is what respect feels like. Back home, things kept crumbling. My unofficial family reporter, Lily, kept me in the loop. My mom was trying to make Jordan do the stuff I used to handle. He claimed to be too busy, but she kept guilt-tripping him. Once, she said to Logan, Logan used to do all this without a fuss. And he shot back, maybe you shouldn't have treated him like crap. Guess their golden boy had limits too. Then came the kicker. My dad messed up their taxes, big time. He put their mortgage interest in the wrong spot on the form, sparking an audit. It was enough to make them refile and chat with the IRS, but fortunately, not enough for a major federal investigation. They tried contacting the tax software, only to find they couldn't access the recovery email. I'd shut it down when I cut ties, so it was gone for good. They had to hire a real accountant, one who didn't answer late-night texts and charged $150 an hour. But the real pain wasn't the money, it was losing control. They were used to having someone nearby who, out of fear or a need to belong, would fix everything instantly. That person was gone now. They didn't even tell me about the audit. It was Lily who tipped me off, saying, your mom's been in a foul mood for days. Dad botched the taxes. She quoted Mom saying, if the leech was still around, this wouldn't have happened. Lol. That's when it hit me, she still called me a leech behind my back, no matter what. But it didn't sting anymore. I had proof by then that her view of me was way off. I had a job I loved, friends who respected me, a landlord who trusted me, a community relying on me, my name on an apartment lease, a healthy bank account, and a life that was all mine. One cold Toronto evening, I sat down at my desk, opened my old Google Drive, and deleted the last shared folder I'd ever made for them. It was titled Do Not Delete Banking for Parents. One click and it was gone. And I smiled to myself. Leeches don't build lives, people do. It finally dawned on me who I really was. Thanks for tuning in and being part of the ride. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any new drama.